Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our Falcons News and Rumor video here on a Monday. A lot is going on, of course. Tomorrow is the first day in March, meaning you're going to get closer and closer to free agency and trades. Let's jump into the latest news and rumors regarding your Atlanta Falcons, starting with the backup quarterback. We call it the Carson Strong project here leading off today's video because CBS Sports put out an article. We'll read you a little clip from that here in just a couple of minutes, talking about how the Falcons should go ahead and draft Matt Ryan's replacement, or at least draft Matt Ryan's backup in order to go ahead and groom him to replace Matt Ryan when he eventually goes ahead and either retires or is traded or is moved on from the Atlanta Falcons in the future. Now, everyone expects Matt Ryan to be the Falcons starter in 2022, not just because of the contract and dead cap money, but it feels like Arthur Blank and Arthur Smith have both voiced their love for Matt Ryan and their idea that they want Matt Ryan to go ahead and come back. Now, the question does become, though, if they do want to draft a quarterback and they don't want to go in the first round, like we talked about with Malik Willis and, talk about Sam Howell probably going in the first round and Kenny Pickett and Matt Corral, who can you get in the later rounds and who makes a lot of sense? And their option is Carson Strong out of Nevada in the mid to first round. So CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin has a great article, or at least an interesting article, on drafting Carson Strong. I'll throw it up on the screen right now. Quote, Ryan should at least be shopped, even with a massive 2022 cap hit, but assuming Atlanta keeps him and gives stronger consideration to a quarterback reset in 2023. Strong would give them a developmental backup. His pocket presence and touch would likely appeal to Coach Arthur Smith, who's preferred more point guard quarterbacks like Ryan and Ryan Tannehill. Now, I agree with this take for the most part. I don't know if I agree with that on Carson Strong. We'll talk more about Strong here in just a second, but I do agree that 100% Atlanta should draft a quarterback. I think they should go ahead and draft a backup. And you talk about Felipe Franks being, a good backup quarterback. I watched those preseason games. I didn't see a lot from Felipe Franks in terms of if Matt Ryan went down for a game, ankle sprain, you need someone to come in. I don't think Felipe Franks is winning any games for the Atlanta Falcons, despite the fact he's mobile, and everyone loves a mobile quarterback these days. But I do think drafting a quarterback in the mid to late round makes a lot of sense. The problem is that right now, the quarterbacks we thought would be there in round 2 or 3, like a Malik Willis out of Liberty, he's been bumped into the first round. Like, he's trending upward. And so who will actually be there? Hence why CBS Sports mentions Carson Strong. If you didn't watch any Nevada games last year, I don't blame you, but Carson Strong is the most pocket passer type in this NFL draft. And even Kenny Pickett are both the least mobile, more generals from the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady's, statues in the pocket. So if you want a mobile guy, Pickett or Strong and Pickett, but Strong is not your guy. Coming off an injury last season, but still very accurate. Throws a fantastic deep ball and is very much in the Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan mold that, of course, Arthur Smith has been used to when he's an OC in Tennessee, and of course the head coach right now with our Falcons. So whether you want a pocket passer or not is irrelevant, but if you want somebody who is in the mold of a Matt Ryan, Carson Strong does make a lot of sense. Now, other mid-round quarterbacks to mention in terms of guys who could be there in round 2 or 3, because that's where you expect these guys to go. I'll throw them up on your screen right now. It's not a lot, right? Desmond Ridder is mentioned here, but he's more going to be an early second-round draft pick. I don't think Ridder falls much past the second half of the second round, meaning you have to take him with one of your early second-round draft picks. Then you got the later-round guys, right? Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, he's a 4th, 5th, or 6th-round guy. Akil Glass out of Alabama A&M, he gets a lot of love right now as being the sleeper, but no one knows a lot about him because you play at Alabama A&M, and you don't play against a lot of, I'd say, legit, actual, talent at defense. And then Derek King, the mobile quarterback out of Miami, who will probably go undrafted or at least be a 6th or 7th round draft pick. So there are options there, but it does seem like Carson Strong would be your best bet right now if you want to draft Matt Ryan's potential future replacement, or at least an understudy, as I've recommended for months here, going into the 2022 NFL Draft. We'll ask you guys this down below. Will the Falcons draft a quarterback in 2022? What do you think? Think they will? Type Y down below for yes. Think they will not? Go ahead and type N down below for no. Now, of course, if they do draft a quarterback, or if they say they're going to draft a quarterback, or if they trade Matt Ryan, or something crazy happens the next couple of days, we'll cover it all here on the channel on Atlanta Falcons Today. So go down below and subscribe. We're at 4,850 subscribers, I think was the last time I checked this morning. Very close to 5,000 subscribers. So, if you want to be a part of the gang, help us get to 5K subs, go down below and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it, and you would get the best Falcon content on YouTube, hands down, in my opinion. More news here. This is an interesting one over the weekend. The Falcons have hired Ryan Pace to a front office, senior personnel position inside the Falcons organization. Now, you think Ryan Pace, I recognize that name. Well, you do. He's been the Bears GM, or at least was the Bears GM over the past couple of seasons, and was one of the ones who was intricate in not only drafting Justin Fields, but also the trade for Mitchell Trubisky and drafting some pretty good defensive players over the past couple of years as well. Now, Pace and Terry Fontenot worked together in New Orleans. That's the kind of connection there, and hence why the Falcons went ahead and hired him. And Pace will be the senior personnel executive, official title, for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcoholic has a pretty good write-up on Ryan Pace in terms of talking about what he could bring to the Falcons front office and really what he could bring in terms of draft coming up here in April. We'll throw it up on your screen right now. Quote, Whether that's justified is up for debate. Pace was behind the utterly disastrous Mitchell Trubisky pick, the Matt Nagy hire, and a lot of bad draft choices over the years, even if he did nail a handful of free agent signings and a fair number of late-round picks. But it's clear this front office will value Pace's opinion. They were going to say, quote, it's worth wondering how much they'll value what he thinks of some of his former draft picks and free agent signings who are free agents this year, because there are some capable players Pace will be very familiar with who will become available, end quote. We'll show you some of those free agents that are connected to Ryan Pace, and maybe they could come and join Atlanta because of the connection from former GM with the Bears, former Bears player, to both active Atlanta people in just 1 second. First, though, the hat and t-shirt combo right now for all of our Atlanta Falcon lovers out there is 25% off. Yes, you see it on your screen right now, 25% off. Quarter off, right? That's pretty good to me. Chatsports.com/Falcons combo is the link that you need. Get the hat, get the t-shirt. If you live in Atlanta like I do, it is getting warm here, which means a hat, protect the sun from the face, and of course t-shirt because it is warm outside right now and will be the next couple of days. Link is on your screen right now. Link is down below in the description box. Click that, head there, pick up your hat and t-shirt combo in whatever size you want right now. Here are the ones who are connected in terms of free agents with Ryan Pace, as mentioned earlier. Mitch Trubisky, quarterback, maybe a backup option there, although I doubt it. He's going to go try to be a starter somewhere, so still. Akeem Hicks is interesting. We talked about him months ago on this channel. A big defensive line, run stopper, a hole clogger up there, up at the front four. Maybe a good addition to the much-needed porous Falcon front. Allen Robinson, the wide receiver, way too expensive, but is a free agent, but he won't come to Atlanta. And then James Daniels, the guard, who could be an option there if you want to go ahead and bolster the defensive line. I mentioned Trubisky earlier. I think he's going to go somewhere where he can compete for a starting job. You think a place like Carolina, maybe, maybe the Vikings if they trade Kirk Cousins, maybe Denver if they get desperate. Like, there are places that are going to call for Mitchell Trubisky. I'd love for him to be the backup to Matt Ryan and maybe an heir apparent to the Falcons quarterback right now, but he's going to be too expensive and you won't be able to afford him, right? Let me ask you guys this. You guys like the Ryan Pace hire? I don't mind it. I think another, GM-type mind up front is not a bad thing. And even though he's missed on a couple of draft picks, he has hit on some, as mentioned. And so maybe he can be a good voice in the year of Terry Fontenot this offseason. Drop a like down below if you guys like the Ryan Pace hire. I do. I would thumbs up. Final quick story here. I was reading, I should say, the Daniel Jeremiah NFL Network mock draft, and he has Kayvon Thibodeaux going to the Atlanta Falcons at number 8 overall. And I saw that headline. I said, Thibodeaux, man, arguably the best pass rusher in the draft. I mean, it's him versus Hutchinson. You see a lot of Jadeveon Clowney in Kayvon Thibodeaux. He's been fantastic at Oregon, especially this past season, even when he was injured. But falling to 8 seemed to me like a very hard thing to do, and yet when you look through the top 10 draft picks in the mock draft from Daniel Jeremiah, it's possible, right? Look at this. So Evan Neal's basically a lock to go to the Jaguars at 1. Most people assume you're going to help Trevor Lawrence out at left guard or left tackle. Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan guy, staying in the Michigan area. Obviously, the Michigan-Detroit connection with the Lions. Then Texans go Kyle Hamilton. That's a possible Thibodeaux spot, although they went Kyle Hamilton here. And then the next is all needs, right? The Jets need an offensive lineman. The Giants get a pass rusher, which is interesting to see Trayvon Walker go ahead of Thibodeaux, but I guess that's how you get him falling to number 8 overall. The Panthers take an offensive guard and Trevor Penning, who is very good but not well known, hence why you might not recognize the name there. Giants take Drake London, the wide receiver out of USC, and then boom, right there, the Falcons take Kayvon Thibodeaux, the edge rusher out of Oregon. Denver takes Jermaine Johnson, we'll talk about him in a second, who's been rocketing up draft boards the past couple of weeks. And finally, the Jets take Sauce Gardner, Ahmad Gardner from Cincinnati there at number 10. So, this is a pretty good mock draft. What actually happened, a little bit iffy, although I will say this. Let's say Thibodeau's not there at number 8. Take a look at Jermaine Johnson, just quickly here. It's a name you need to know as a Falcon fan. He was a senior at Florida State. Didn't get a lot of love because Florida State stunk the past couple of years, but really turned heads at the Senior Bowl. This was a late first-round guy. He's jumped into the side of the top 15. He might even be a top 10 pick. Atlanta at number 8, if you don't get a Jabo or Karlaftis out of Purdue, look for Jermaine Johnson. I think that's important to notice that even if Thibodeaux doesn't fall, you could see a Johnson option there coming up at number 8 overall. Now, if they were to go ahead and get Kayvon Thibodeaux, we'll end on this question here. How excited would you be if they went ahead and grabbed him from a scale of 1 to 10? I'd be at 100. I mean, this would be the best pick the Falcons could possibly get as the superstar pass rusher in this draft. Is it possible? We'll see. How excited would you be? Let me know down below right now. All time today on Atlanta Falcons News and Rumor video. I'm your host, Thomas Mott. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and we will do a mailbag video later on this week. So, excuse me, you guys have any mailbag questions, use the hashtag Falcons, ask away. I will pull the best ones I can for a video later on this week. But for Atlanta Falcons today, Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.